Yeah. So what I like to do in the morning, what I like to do is, um, I'll get up and I'll make myself a little cup of coffee and have a little rolly thing on two wheels, and I take the dog most times, not all the time, and I was rolling, and that's my time with the Lord. I try to do it first thing. Sometimes I get sidetracked, but so I'm rolling and I'm receiving from him. And I'm reminding him as if he needs to be reminded, but I think he does. But I remind him of, all the promises that he made to me and all the years, that we've been standing on the promise. And that's what I'm after. And so I'm receiving life from him and joy and strength. And I'm going and I get around the corner of my block there. And there's these two people sitting under the church. We have a church on our corner, but it's been abandoned for some time, I think, maybe because of the virus. But we have it there, and they were sitting under the balcony, and I tried to roll by them. I really tried to roll by them. And I said, I remember saying to the Lord in my head, I said, Lord, they're sitting under your house and no one's helping them. And he says, well, if you don't help them, who's going to? So I said, oh, all right. So I rolled up to them, and they're in bad condition, man. These guys are in very bad condition. Their skin is full of sores, and their clothes are raggedy, and they're kind of slumped over. And I didn't want to startle them, so I just kind of rolled up as softly as I could and was like, hey. And they kind of looked up at me almost like in a stupor there. I said, can I do anything for you? I don't know what to say. I just know I'm there for whatever the Lord wanted me to be there for. So can I do something for you? Some water, a blanket, some money, like what can I do? And the guy looks up at me and he says, anything helps. So I said, all right. You be here for 5 minutes? He said, yeah, I'll be here for 5 minutes. So I rolled off, and the girl that was with him, she didn't say anything. So I go and I find 2 cigarettes. And on the way to get the 2 cigarettes, I hear the Lord tell me, we're going to give him money. So I said, all right, I purpose in my heart to give him this money. I already know how much money I'm going to give him. I pull back with the 2 cigarettes. I couldn't have been gone 5 minutes, maybe 5 minutes. And I pull back up with the 2 cigarettes. And right beside the gentleman is his whole drug case is open. The needle's still sticking in his arm. He had just shot up a whole shot of heroin. And he was passed out. The girl was passed out. They're not even coherent. The needle's right there. It's like bloody. The rags there. They're under the house of the Lord there. And the heroin's laying on the thing. So many things went through my mind in a split second. I thought, I could take the heroin and like throw it out into the street, like that probably wouldn't be good. Smash the needle, like I definitely ain't giving these people my money now, I'll tell you that much. And so I left the 2 cigarettes right there by them with the lighter. And I guess when you wake up, here's my seed, And I start to roll away. And I'm thinking, man, there ain't no way I'm giving them that seed. And the Lord stopped me. It was almost like I ran into a freaking wall, man. I just, doom. And he's like, I thought we were going to give them money. We had purpose to give them money. And so I begin arguing with him, which isn't wise, by the way. But I begin arguing with him, and I'm like, man, they're heroin addicts, dude. Like, they're going to take this money immediately. Like, what am I going to do? I'm going to give them this money. And they're going to go overdose, and I'm going to kill them because they didn't have it until I gave it to them, and now they have it, and they're going to get high. And he said, that's my money. And I said, oh, man. So I went back over there, and it was just the swiftest correction, how he did it, and it hurt, man. It hurt somewhere deep inside when he told me that's my money. And almost for a minute, I had forgotten that. I said, oh, that's right, it is. It is your money. Okay, well, I'm going to go back and give it to him then. So I go back, and I'm shaking his foot trying to get him awake, because I'm here for something, you know. I'm not just going to leave the money on the thing and drive away. I'm here for something other than the cigarettes and the money. I know that because the Lord's pestering me about these people, and I know he is. So I wake them up, and they look up, and, man, they're twisted, man. And I said, here, man, I have something for you. And I gave him the money, and he looked at the money in my hand, and both of their eyes just popped up. It was a pretty decent amount of money, especially for heroin addicts on the street. And his eyes popped up, and I don't know what I thought was the seed there. I don't know where I'm going with this. Normally, if Roxy asks to give a testimony, I'm pretty much stuck, because if someone asks, I'm going to give one. But I gave the money, and I'm thinking, this is my seed unto the Lord. But it was so different this time. The seed was actually a plow. It was like a plow in their souls, and immediately they were ready to receive all the goods that I had. I mean, I had money to open the door, but the goods that I had, and I sat down with them, next to them, and we told our whole life story to each other. And I told him, you know, I've come out of addiction, and the Lord blessed me, and it was only one thing that broke all those addictions and chains, and it was him. And, you know, I just kept repeating that I loved them, and I touched them, and I hugged them. And at first when I touched them, they like shuddered under my touch, and you could tell that probably nobody's touched them in I don't know how long, because their skin's falling off. They look horrible, you know. And so I hugged them, and I just kept repeating how much I love them. And you could see them, they're just breaking down in front of me. Both of these people are just breaking down in front of me. And I can feel, I can just feel like that not my love, but his love for these people, that they're just on the street, they're under the house of the Lord. They probably walked around, we don't know where else to go. We know God will be under this roof, you know. Send us, Jesus, send us somebody. I don't know what they're praying. But I got to pray for them and bless them, and I asked the lady if there was anything else that I could do for her, and she said, I would like some ice, a cup of ice. I said, all right, I'll get a cup of ice. And I went and got a cup of ice and came back, and I just told her that I loved her again, that girl, and she was like, finally, as I got ready to go, and I was ready to roll off. And as I was rolling off, she said, hey, wait. And I did my turnaround thing on my wheel thing. And she says, I know what you mean about that God stuff and the love stuff. And I was like, oh, man, there it is. What did that do? I don't know what that did. You don't know what that did. None of us know what that did, but probably changed their lives forever. And I'm droning. I know I am. I'm trying to get to the point here. But, you know, and so I turned back around, and I decided to tell her what I supposed the Lord did to me as I was driving by. And I was like, he literally made me stop, you know, like he made me stop. I wanted to roll past you. He made me stop. So like, if I could stress how important you are to him, how important it is for you to receive this love here right now. And she said, the Lord told you to stop. And I said, yeah, I'm telling the truth. He did, you know, this is not a fantasy. And she said, man, it's so bright around here. And it's overcast out, it's cloudy outside. So I'm like, I'm not seeing the same thing she is, and I could just see the change. And there was just a moment as I was reversing and backwards, and I'm looking at them, and there's just something between us, me and these two addicts there. It was like a bond of love, that heart. And I know that forever and ever and ever their life has changed. And I don't know what I'm really saying other than I really encourage you. Sometimes, man, we take it for granted. The one was the fellowship with God. Some people go their whole life and they never hear from him. And for me, I'll argue with him. That's how much we talk, you know. And it's like, I take that for granted sometimes. What a wonderful friendship to talk with the living God. And then other times I see people and they're just really crappy looking, and I roll by them and my flesh wants to judge them and be like, oh, you should get a job or something, you know, or something like that. And, you know, you just never know, man. You just never know. So maybe this is how we change. I think In one area, we're hoping to break down these huge walls and do these insane miracles to where people see. But I'm reminded of a verse where it says, we're all about revealing the sons of God. And the word is very simple. It says, by this, the world will know that you're mine. And it's the love that you have for one another. I seriously think that love is the biggest miracle ever. To love those people is totally outside of my old nature. Yeah, that's my testimony, I think.